Roadhouse delivered a wild, high-octane ride that plunged audiences into a world of gritty dive bars, bare-knuckle brawls, and the raw, untamed spirit of the 80s. With Patrick Swayze leading the charge as Dalton, a calm, zen-like bouncer with a quiet intensity, the film stood out not just for its bone-crunching action, but for its unforgettable characters and magnetic cast that lit up the screen. But what happened once the neon lights faded and the last punches were thrown? Over the decades, the cast's lives have taken turns no one could have predicted. Some lost tragically, some quietly stepped away from the spotlight, while others kept chasing the fading glow of fame. Now, in 2025, their journeys continue, many of them just as gripping, if not more, than the film itself. Where are they now? How have they changed? The real stories behind the chaos will surprise you. Patrick Swayze as James Dalton. Patrick Swayze, who portrayed James Dalton in Roadhouse, 1989, was 37 years old when he embodied the legendary bouncer with flowing blonde hair, a calm demeanor, and hands that could take down anyone. Hired to turn the chaotic Double Deuce bar into a safe haven while facing off against crime lord Brad Wesley, his role brought the film to life, turning it into an iconic 80s action classic with the unforgettable line, "Be nice until it's time not to be nice." But beyond the spotlight, Swayze's life was a somber tune. Born on August 18, 1952, in Houston, Texas, he married his high school sweetheart, Lisa Nemi, in 1975, a love story that Hollywood envied. However, the shadow of alcohol addiction gripped him in the 90s, and just as the light began to shine again, pancreatic cancer struck in 2008, like a cruel fate. He fought fiercely, but on September 14, 2009, at the age of 57, Swayze passed away, leaving Lisa and fans in silent grief. Sam Elliot as Wade Garrett. Sam Elliot, who played Wade Garrett in Roadhouse, 1989, was 45 years old when he brought to life the seasoned bouncer and mentor to James Dalton, with his deep voice and eyes that carried the weight of past battles. He comes to the rescue just when Dalton faces life-or-death situations, only to be slain by Brad Wesley's gang. His role was the heart of friendship and sacrifice, making the film not just about fight scenes, but also about loyalty. Off-screen, Elliot's life has been a rocky road under the desert sky. Born on August 9, 1944, in Sacramento, California, he married Catherine Ross in 1984. And their daughter Cleo Rose is their pride. However, in 2011, a crack appeared when Ross sought a restraining order against Cleo for violent behavior, shattering the image of Elliot's perfect family. Though they reconciled, the pain still lingers. Now, at the age of 80 in 2025, he lives quietly, away from the limelight, finding peace with his loved ones. Ben Gazara as Brad Wesley. Ben Gazara, who portrayed Brad Wesley in Roadhouse, 1989, was 59 years old when he took on the role of the ruthless crime boss, with a cold smile and razor-sharp gaze, ruling Jasper through corruption and violence, forcing James Dalton into an unforgiving battle. His performance created a villain so fearsome, viewers couldn't help but hate and love him, elevating the film's tension to new heights. But off the screen, Gazara lived through emotional storms. Born on August 28, 1930, in New York City, he experienced 3 marriages, with Louise Erickson, Janice Rule, and finally Elka Krivat, whom he married in 1982, each leaving a scar on his heart. His volatile temper distanced him from friends, and when pancreatic cancer struck, he faced it alone, like a solitary warrior. Gazara passed away on February 3, 2012, at the age of 81, leaving behind a world that once admired him but had since forgotten. Kelly Lynch as Dr. Elizabeth Clay. Kelly Lynch, who played Dr. Elizabeth Clay in Roadhouse, 1989, was 30 years old when she portrayed the intelligent doctor with blonde hair and a gentle gaze, healing James Dalton's wounds and offering her heart, despite the constant threat of violence from Brad Wesley. Her character was a beacon of light amidst the darkness, providing emotional balance to the film and symbolizing love and courage in a chaotic world. Off-screen, Lynch walked her own rugged paths. Born on January 31, 1959, in Golden Valley, Minnesota, she married Mitch Glazer in 1992, and their daughter Shane is the light of her life. A near-fatal horseback riding accident left her with physical and emotional scars that she silently endured. Despite her strength, Lynch once struggled through dark days, finding her way back through the love of her family. Now, at 66 years old in 2025, she lives quietly, cherishing peaceful moments with her loved ones. Terry Funk as Morgan. Terry Funk, who played the role of Morgan in Roadhouse, 1989, was 45 when he took on the part of Brad Wesley's brutal henchman, a muscle-bound, rage-filled bouncer who's fired by James Dalton, igniting a burning hatred within him. His performance was a fierce presence that underscored the chaos and danger of the double deuce, keeping audiences locked in. Off-screen, Funk led a life marked by hardship. Born on June 30, 1944, in Hammond, Indiana, he married Vicki Weaver in 1965, and their two daughters were his comfort through the years. Decades in the wrestling ring left his body scarred, and later dementia and Parkinson's slowly dimmed his light. Funk passed away on August 23, 2023, at the age of 79, in Amarillo, Texas, leaving Vicki behind in a silence no words could ease. Keith David as Ernie Bass. Keith David, who portrayed Ernie Bass in Roadhouse, 1989, was 33 when he became the loyal bartender with a warm smile and deft hands, helping James Dalton transform the Double Deuce into a place worth saving, even while surrounded by violence. His role brought a steady heartbeat to the film, a sense of peace in the storm, and offered audiences a glimpse of hope amid the darkness. In real life, David bore his own private scars. Born on June 4, 1956, in Harlem, New York, he married Diane Lee Williams in 2001, and their 3 children became the light of his life. But a failed first marriage left behind sleepless nights and unspoken pain. Through his love for his children, he tried to heal, though the path was never easy. At 68 in 2025, David lives quietly, cherishing the small, precious moments with family. Red West as Red Webster. Red West, who played Red Webster in Roadhouse, 1989, was 53 when he took on the role of a rugged auto parts store owner who stood up to Brad Wesley, even after his shop was burned to the ground. His performance was a symbol of defiance, inspiring James Dalton and reminding viewers of the power of courage. Beyond the screen, West faced his own storms. Born on March 8, 1936, in Memphis, Tennessee, he married Pat Boyd in 1961, and their 2 children were his pride. A close friend of Elvis Presley, he once stood beside a legend, but a revealing book published in 1976 fractured that bond, leaving lasting sorrow. West died on July 18, 2017, at age 81 in Memphis, due to an aortic aneurysm, leaving Pat in quiet grief. Kathleen Wilhoy as Carrie. Kathleen Wilhoy, who portrayed Carrie in Roadhouse, 1989, was 25 when she brought to life a sharp-witted waitress with a radiant smile and playful eyes, bringing laughter and unity to the Double Deuce even during brutal brawls. Her character added a fresh breath to the film, softening the tension and endearing her spirit to the audience. Off-screen, Wilhoy faced her own battles. Born on June 29, 1964, in Santa Barbara, California, She married David Hart in 1997, and their 3 children became her guiding light. Yet depression once trapped her in silent corners, where she fought to keep her family whole. Music became her escape, though the scars never truly vanished. At 60 in 2025, Wilhoy lives quietly, holding tight to moments of peace. Sunshine Parker as Emmett. Sunshine Parker, who played Emmett in Roadhouse, 1989, was 62 when he stepped into the role of a kind-hearted farmer with a weathered face and open heart, offering James Dalton a home and standing beside him in the face of Brad Wesley's threats. His role brought a warm glow to the film, a reminder of human kindness in a violent world. But off-camera, Parker lived like a quiet shadow. Born on June 10, 1927, in Lawn, Texas, he kept his personal life, his wife and children, hidden from the public like a secret no one could touch. In his final years, he suffered silently, his health fading in solitude, and no one truly knew what claimed him. Parker passed away on February 17, 1999, at age 71, in Burbank, California, leaving behind a world that barely remembered him. Marshall R. Teague as Jimmy. Marshall R. Teague, who played Jimmy in Roadhouse, 1989, was 36 when he became Brad Wesley's ruthless right-hand man, a lean, cold-eyed fighter who clashed with James Dalton in a bloody Riverside showdown. His performance was a raging fire, fueling the film's brutal conflict and keeping audiences breathless with every blow. In real life, Teague carried a heavy heart. Born on April 16, 1953, in Newport, Tennessee, he married Lindy, and their 2 children were his source of strength. A former Marine, he lived with discipline, but the weight of keeping his family whole once brought him to his knees in the still of night. Though he rose again, the scars remained. At 71 in 2025, Teague lives quietly, seeking peace in the company of loved ones. Kimberly Haron as Party Girl. Kimberly Haron, who portrayed Party Girl in Roadhouse, 1989, was 32 when she brought to life a woman caught in Brad Wesley's lavish world, her eyes lost in the chaos of wild parties, witnessing the decay of Jasper. Her small role was a dark piece of the puzzle, highlighting the depravity of Wesley's world and showing the price of indulgence. But outside the spotlight, Haron lived like a shadow. Born on October 2, 1957, in Santa Barbara, California, she had a private marriage with no children and kept everything a secret. When breast cancer came, she fought alone, unnoticed, until the light dimmed. Haron passed away on October 28, 2022, at the age of 65, leaving a world that barely remembered her. Gary Hudson as Steve. Gary Hudson, who played Steve in Roadhouse, 1989, was 33 when he took on the role of a reckless bouncer with a cocky smile and a defiant gaze, fired by James Dalton for the chaos he caused at Double Deuce. His character was a wildfire, marking the early breakdown of the bar and showing the cost of arrogance. In real life, Hudson faced years of cracks in his life. Born on March 26, 1956 in Newport News, Virginia, he went through multiple marriages, with his son being his only light. Broken relationships left scars on his heart, and he often hid his pain behind a flashy exterior. At 68 in 2025, Hudson lived quietly, finding solace with his son. Marshall Rohner as Cruzado's band member. Marshall Rohner, who played a Cruzado's band member in Roadhouse, 1989, was 26 when he embodied a guitarist with messy hair and a dreamy gaze, playing rock tunes that set Double Deuce on fire. His role was a passionate heartbeat, fueling the chaos of the film and letting the audience feel the energy in the dangerous world. But offstage, Rohner was a star whose light burned out too soon. Born on December 20th, 1963 in Iowa, he kept his family life a mystery, a secret nobody touched. His wild youth led him to hepatitis C, and that disease dimmed his light. Rohner passed away on October 18, 2005, at the age of 41, leaving friends in silent sorrow. Julie Michaels as Denise. Julie Michaels, who portrayed Denise in Roadhouse, 1989, was 19 when she became Brad Wesley's trapped girlfriend, with defiant eyes and a burning heart, caught in his cruel world, yet still longing for freedom. Her character was a flame extinguished, showing the brutality of Wesley and letting the audience feel the pain of captivity. In real life, Michaels was an unyielding spirit. Born on July 20th, 1970, in Northwest Washington, she married Pee Wee Piemonte, choosing not to have children so she could live fully with her passion. Toxic relationships from her youth left scars, but she turned them into strength, rising each time she fell. At 54 in 2025, Michaels lived happily, embracing peaceful moments with her husband, Kevin Teague, as Frank Tilghman. Kevin Teague, who played Frank Tilghman in Roadhouse, 1989, was 45 when he took on the role of the Double Deuce bar owner, with a determined gaze and a courageous heart, hiring James Dalton to save his dream from Brad Wesley's threat. His character was a beacon of hope, highlighting the strength of resistance and showing the audience the good that can exist in the darkness. But beyond the spotlight, Teague carried deep wounds. Born on August 13, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, he was married twice, to Mary Lou Seaman and Rebecca Fletcher, and his daughter Jennifer was his light. Struggling with alcohol addiction, it led him down a deep spiral, breaking his family until he found a way out. At 80 in 2025, Teague lived quietly, finding peace with his loved ones. John Doe as Pat McGurn. John Doe, who played Pat McGurn in Roadhouse, 1989, was 36 when he became a sly bartender. With a fake smile and shifty eyes, Brad Wesley's nephew, fired by James Dalton for stealing. His role was a humorous dark spot, emphasizing the degradation of Wesley's world and leaving the audience both disgusted and intrigued by his failure. Off-screen, Doe lived through turbulent times. Born on February 25, 1953, in Decatur, Illinois, he married Gigi Blair, and their 3 daughters were his joy. But a busy life kept him distant from his family, leaving rifts he worked hard to heal. At 72 in 2025, Doe lived quietly, finding comfort in his role as father and grandfather. From cult fame to personal crossroads, the cast of Roadhouse has taken us far beyond the Double Deuce. Their stories remind us that time changes more than faces. It reveals resilience, reinvention, and the real lives behind the legends. Which Roadhouse star's journey surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more cast updates.